My name is Ashley Allen, and this week I was able to read and analyze Mia Tuan's chapter called The Racialized Experience, which is a part of her book, Forever Foreigners or Honorary Whites. This particular chapter focuses on the Asian experience and the role of ethnicity in their lives today. This chapter opens up by Tuan entering a detailed discussion of the Ito D'Amato incident to help the readers understand how Asian Americans look to gain approval from Americans and how the media portrayed the Asian American attorney in this case. Asian Americans were excited to have the media see someone from their ethnicity be portrayed as articulate and a confident spokesperson. This high-profile case involving O.J. Simpson was shown throughout the media worldwide, and Asian Americans felt this would give America a different experience of Asians and Asian Americans than the opposite of what's usually portrayed in the media. Unfortunately, the media still found ways to pick at the work of Ito's performance, creating stereotypes about the overall characteristics and behavior traits of Asians, such as being unassertive. Tuan also gave an example how more recently a financial scandal from a franchise involving Asian Americans casted a form of discrimination by interviewing the contributors of the franchise that had an Asian or Asian-sounding name to see if they had connections with the Asians who were caught in the scandal. These examples brought Tuan to her main points of the chapter. First, Asian Americans are flexible with what they decide from their culture to incorporate. Asian Americans have been greatly adaptable to the ethics of white Americans and only have some cultural influence from their own ethnicity depending on their way of living. Secondly, Asian Americans are expected by society to be closer to their ethnic roots than how they identify themselves. This stigma leaves Asian Americans consistently discriminated against and still reminded that no matter what their socioeconomic status is, Asian Americans are still seen as other, even with the long amount of time Asian Americans first immigrated here. This brings us to the third point. As Asian Americans become more integrated as Americans, they are still associated with foreignness. Tuan talks about an example involving the popular Olympic figure skating championships, where 2 times they depicted American skaters as the ideal American girl, receiving endorsements and idolization. However, Yamaguchi and Kwan were seen as the others and not even gaining enough credit of skill because that's not what the ideal American looks like. Tuan continues to mention even with states who are not significantly Asian populated are based all around assumption. We learn through media that it portrays only the foreign-born. Unfortunately, this does not help Americans see and understand Asian Americans in their experiences today. Media created an image of Asians that may have been true decades ago, but today if we rely only on media to learn of other cultures, we will never be able to see the growth and how much they have manifested into Americans. Tuan does feel that no matter how integrated Asians may become in American culture, they still will be marginalized. Lastly, Tuan asks, what exactly is an American? We understand that immigration is one of the basis of being American, but more so being a part of the European ancestry. Asians don't particularly care about the ethnics of white American culture, but thrive on personal choice. No matter the status Asians have proclaimed and amounted to, they have yet to be accepted as Americans and continue to struggle with that unacceptance today. Tuan describes Asian Americans as seen as model minorities because they are the best of the minority population, but still not accepted as Americans. As the chapter comes to a close, Tuan helps the reader understand the perceived notations of Asian Americans to giving us insight on how they really feel and the discrimination they face, even with having an entitlement of being a model minority. Despite the discrimination Asian Americans face, they are still hopeful to one day being fully accepted as a legitimate part of society and no longer recognized as an other. Asian Americans continue to merge with their surroundings and identify with others with like experiences rather than focusing on ethnic differences. What stood out to me in this reading was how, in the new generation, Asian Americans aren't as attached to their culture as I thought they are. I would have to blame media and other life experiences that I have had to blame for my understanding. This reading helped me understand a lot about the new Asian experience and how no matter how close you can be to achieving All American status, as long as you're not 100% European descent, you might always be seen as the other. It was interesting to read about the class system within the minority groups and how Asians are right under white people and then so forth. As a social work major, this reading was very beneficial for my ability to be knowledgeable and culturally competent of others and their cultures and experiences. I was lacking insight about the Asian American experience, and I feel this reading helps clarify a lot of preconceived notations I might have had. I'm not too sure if I have questions at this moment regarding this reading, because at this moment I am taking it all that I have learned and still interested in knowing more about the Asian ethnic experience in today's society. Thank you.